My guest is Dietra Flamme, Rudolph Valentino's elusive lady in black. You stated earlier that you knew Rudolph Valentino when you were a young girl. How old were you when you first met him?
I was 14, Mr. Coates.
And where did you meet him?
Well, some friends and my relatives, we had gone to the Hippodrome Theater, and after that, these friends of my family wanted to go out and visit some people that lived on Valencia Street in Los Angeles, and so we went out there, and while we were at this gathering, why, it so happened that Rudolph Valentino lived at the same place. It was sort of a rooming house. Mm-hmm. And the people that had this large apartment downstairs were having sort of a little get-together, a party that night. And he wasn't known as Rudolph Valentino at that time. His name was Rodolfo de Valentino.
He was a small-time dancer.
Just a small-time dancer, yeah. And he was trying to get bits and pictures. And at the time, he was working in a tavern or a nightclub out near Watts somewhere. I got very tired into being a young girl, and I didn't sort of understand all the things that people were talking about. And I'd seen a movie, and I loved movies. I've always loved movies. I went on the Davenport and practically fell asleep, and I was all curled up. And the next thing I heard was everybody sort of let out a shout, and I looked up, started up, and there stood Rodolfo de Valentina in the doorway, and he looked like he'd been running a long race because he was mopping his brow and saying, "Oh, my, that was really something, that we really worked hard today. It's been a big day," and all that sort of thing. And he came in and looked around and went over to the table and helped himself to some of the food. They invited him to eat, and he picked up something and came over and sat down, roamed around, spoke to others, and then came over and spoke to me. And he said, "Well, hello there." And I said, "Well, hello." And he looked to me like a Spaniard because I had gone to Mexico with my family, and immediately I said, "Well, I'd like to speak to you in Spanish," and so I did. I spoke to him in Spanish and mistaking him for a Spaniard, and he said, "Why, your Spanish is wonderful." He said, "You just keep it up and you'll be doing well." He said, "I'm not Spanish, I'm Italian." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh, well, excuse me." I said, "I don't know too many words of Italian." He said, "Well, I'll teach you Italian."
Well, you became very close friends with him after that.
Yes, that's right.